the innovation ecosystem for supporting entrepreneurs and creating platform for collaboration. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the platform for where restaurants, chefs, brands will find future business models, menus, and ideas to address tomorrow's market demand. I once again welcome you all to a day of invigorating, tough discussions and some thought-provoking keynote sessions deliberating on why leadership is the need of the hour. The Congress also aims to bring out the practices of starting, managing, and growing the restaurant business by presenting powerful resources that can improve skill and quality in the restaurant business domain. And now, on behalf of Indian Restaurant Congress 2018, we'll take this opportunity to acknowledge our partners, and believe you us, this event would not have been the same without their wholehearted support. Would like to thank our title associate, Cremica Food Industries Limited, Indian Restaurant Awards powered by Sickle, and there's a long list, Associate Dine Out, Co-Associate Catch Salt and Spices, Supply Chain Partner Coldex, Equipment Partner Middle by Self-Frost, Media Partner Economic Times, Knowledge Partner NRAI, Official Magazine The Franchising World and Retailer, Official Portal restaurantindia.in, and the show is organized by none other than Franchise India. So as all of us attend the Indian Restaurant Congress 2018, please show us lots and lots of love by tweeting via social media. And now I'm going to tell the hashtag for this event. Listen to it very carefully because I'm going to repeat it hell number of times throughout the Congress, else I won't get my check. The hashtag, ladies and gentlemen, is hashtag Restaurant 2018 and hashtag IRC 2018. So do tweet, post your selfies, share your networking moments, and we promise to retweet you. So I've been talking for a while, so to set the tone for the day and to officially welcome you all, let me take this opportunity to call upon stage our very young, dynamic, and enterprising Editor-in-Chief, Franchise India Group, Ms. Ritu Maria. Let's all welcome her on the dais. A very warm welcome to you, Ritu.
A very good morning to all the members of the restaurant industry, and a warm, warm welcome to the 8th annual edition of the Indian Restaurant Congress. You are the ones really, with the support of whom and with the growth of whom the 8th annual edition of this Congress has been possible, and it has only seen growth year on year as the industry has grown. We have, these 8 years, we have had multiple sort of areas in which we have driven the Congress. We have talked on innovation, we've talked on disruption, we've talked on sustainability. But this year, I think it was the need of the hour, 8th year of the Congress and such an old industry. There was still what I felt when we were putting this show together, and I thought that one thing if I would like to give to the industry or I would like to empower the industry, what would it be? And my only thought was that it has to be building leadership. And leadership has to be multidimensional. So I've put together a few slides just to sort of put my point together, what I'm saying when I say about building leadership and what leadership really means for the industry as we grow and go forward. So the theme of this year is building leadership, and I'm so glad that Mr. Raj Varman, who's the country head and the managing director for Burger King India, has decided to chair it. In fact, he champions the cause of building leadership for restaurants, and he's built it in not just in India, but across the world in various places where he has worked and donned the hat of Burger King over there. So Having said that, I'm going to just take 5 minutes to explain to you what the direction of the event is for the next 2 days and where we are coming from when we're saying and talking about leadership going forward. Can we move to the next slide, please? So this is where the industry really stands today. Today, India has roughly 1.8 million restaurants for 1.3 billion people. So I don't really think we are that short of restaurants as we would like to believe. But what is more concerning, I believe, is for the industry to understand is that we are rather less when it comes to being an organized industry, unlike the rest of the world, be it China, be it the US, be it other markets like Europe, where the organized industry's share is fairly large. Ours is fairly less, which is 15%. But, when I was researching about the organized industry, I also understood that there were just about 50 companies in all that had more than 100 restaurants. In fact, those 50 were also probably closing and opening more restaurants all the time. But that was really my big concern, that why we've sort of not building enough organizations when it comes to food. And less than 1/10 of the entire restaurants are branded in India. So which means, it's nobody's bet where you're going to be eating tonight. Next slide, please. So, numbers talk differently to different people. When I was looking at these numbers which were put together by an NRAI report, it gave me a very different sort of understanding of where this industry needs to be. Now, QSR sector is about 21% of the entire industry. It stands at about almost close to 50,000 crores. But in the last few years, what we've seen increasing in bulging are sectors like casual dining and cafes. Fine dine probably has reduced. Even QSR would have been reduced to a bit. But I realized that more hybrid format of restaurants is what has really changed this entire numbers in this list that you see in front over here. So when I say hybrid formats, they're formats of restaurants which have come between, I would say, family restaurants and fine dine restaurants, which you today call casual dining restaurants. And then there's another new format which is going to evolve, which is another sort of hybrid restaurants, which is somewhere going to be between casual dining and quick service restaurants, which is your fast casual restaurants. So the bulge that you see in the middle, which is casual dining cafes, it's only going to sort of either increase or it is going to sort of squeeze each other. So casual dine might actually come down and fast casual might go up, and cafes would probably, decrease some to give or make way for fast casuals. But what is really sort of something that you need to take away from this table is that, why do people go to these restaurants? I realized that for a quick service restaurant, people basically go there and keep going there because of the familiarity of the restaurant. That's the reason why customers and repeat customers would keep going to quick service industry, because they're familiar, they know the food, they know the ambience, they know what to expect. On the contrary, people go to a casual dine or even to a fast casual for the thrill of it, for the frills that might actually be there in the restaurant. They go more for an adventure than really for eating. So the familiarity might not be there, which means the industry has to do all the more work in terms of building its customer and building its repeat customer loyalty. But I think if we have to take really a cue from this sheet, what we really need to understand is that there is no leadership per se that exists today in the casual dining or the newly emerging formats. QSR, today if you're a young restaurateur who is starting a QSR, believe you me, there are enough number of suppliers in this industry, there's enough leadership, there is enough people who can guide you, mentor you, and you'll be up and about in no time. That's because this industry has able to establish itself not just in India but globally, and there is enough leadership that exists, enough mentorship, enough resources, enough industry suppliers which will help you grow very fast. But when it comes to casual dining and cafes and fast casuals, there is not enough work that has been done for the industry to prosper and really be growing in the direction that we need to see it growing, which is a concern for me, because that till there is enough knowledge, till there is enough expertise that exists in the industry for the industry to grow, whether it is casual dine or fast casual or any other format, it will not happen. And you know, that is why we'll probably see more failures, we'll probably see restaurants opening, restaurants closing. That needs some correction, and that needs some leadership to happen in this industry at some stage if these formats really have to grow and prosper and, more importantly, grow large. This is what I feel is not so visible in the industry. You know, I run the Entrepreneur magazine, so I follow the funding scene, largely the capital movements very closely. And I've realized that early funding practically doesn't exist in this industry. Angel funding, there is no angel fund which I can say would cater to. I know the Indian Angel Network guys very closely, and they've only made probably just one big investment in the food service sector, while they made about 5 in the blockchain sector, which is like a non-existent sector across the world right now. So early funding doesn't exist, but also more importantly, VC/PE funding doesn't exist to a big level. It's in fact been drastically falling down in the last few years. Restaurant valuations have not been that great as we would like to see them. There's more bridge funding and there's more haircuts being taken in the industry. Then I would say big investment moving behind a high growth firm in the sector. And that is not something that is usually seen, or that is something that is, or should be part, or should be as a picture that should be seen in a sector which is otherwise very growth oriented. I don't see unicorns coming out of restaurant business like I see in other sectors. So, so really, I mean, if you're entrepreneurial and you want to grow and you want to build business in restaurants to become a unicorn, yeah, it's not going to happen, or it's not going to come easy. There's not so much fall in attrition. Attrition I've always felt is a function of the industry and where the industry is headed. Why I feel attrition is more in this industry is because there is no sort of clear direction as to where the industry is growing. A person who joins the industry doesn't know what his career looks like 5 years, 10 years down the line, whether he's working in the restaurant or whether he's working in the organization. So I think that is something that needs to be corrected. A clear direction, building visibility for where your talent is going to be 5 years down the line in the industry is very important to pinpoint. Barring hotel chefs and probably chefs who are probably being more seen on television, or maybe being celebrated in some other forms, I don't see chefs being empowered in India to that extent. Restaurants are all about chefs. Casual dining is really all about the chef who is going to service that restaurant. So they need to today be really acting like, not just be known for their technical skills, but really for their organizational skills on how they organize maybe 1 unit, 2 unit, 3 units that they are likely to manage in their career. So, somewhere or the other, I think they need to wear a CEO's cap in the restaurant and be looking beyond just their technical functions or culinary functions. We need far more efficient supply chains. Locals have to be substituted with a more efficient, more optimized supply chain, because you cannot address hygiene, you cannot address good food, day on day being able to service your customer with the right food that he's looking at from your store till you have a good supply chain in place. Barring a few large chains, the 50s that I was talking about, I don't see a very big supply chain existing in the industry. And most importantly, I think there is no formal mentorship and incubation that one sees in this industry as it should happen in a growing industry. There are not enough mentors who are really going to take your industry from level A to level B or level B to level C, which exists, which would be able to also help you in your funding drive, which will be able to help you in your organizational drive. I don't see that, and there is very little incubation. In fact, the first incubator I came to know was Yellow Tie, when we were doing the Franchise India show recently on TV. So incidentally, when we were doing this consumer show, which was the first ever TV show being done in India, we realized that the 50% people who really applied for the show were actually restaurant owners. And there was only one company which came up which said that we're going to be tomorrow's incubator for restaurants. So honestly, all this doesn't exist. And till it does not exist and come forward and be seen and visibly be seen, this industry is not going to go anywhere big till it organizes itself to the last mile. Every new restaurateur, first of all, when they open a restaurant or they think of expanding restaurants, need to put it all in place or put it all in order to grow. Next slide. So I do feel that, what we are, the previous slide, please. So what I do feel that we need to work on is more building restaurant organizations than just building restaurants. And I feel that it could be a function of three things right now. We need to see more education being given for, or training being given only for being in the restaurant sector, which I don't think that exists. We don't have any culinary schools. We're talking about restaurants which are Vietnamese, Japanese, Turkish, Greek, but really, where are the chefs going to come from? Where are people going to come from who are going to serve or make food in this restaurant? I mean, let's admit it, we are a country which is not, where you don't see natural immigration. Global chefs are not going to move into this country to set up restaurants. So what we need to do is we need to train people to have people who will actually be either Nepalese or Bangladeshis or Indians, Garhwalis, whosoever, to be actually trained to cook all these cuisines or to be able to really make all that gourmet food that we are promising to our customers. So I think, and I honestly feel that the association, NRAI, should really take the cause of championing education in the industry to set up these culinary schools that we are looking at. I don't see any La Cordée chefs or, Michelin star restaurants happening here. So are we really going to wait for the world to actually come and give it to us? I think the answer is no. We need to develop it ourselves. So education is particularly going to be important at every level in this industry. If we want to do all that we are looking, and I see all of you coming from wearing different hats as restaurateurs. Somebody is running global restaurant chains and somebody is running global restaurant cuisine chains. So all this is only going to be possible if we have enough education. Infrastructure. I think it's a huge concern. In the last 6 months, I have seen at least 2 major accidents happening in the restaurants. And, we cannot sit on it and say that, hey, the government is going to do something about it and some new infrastructure will come. Otherwise, we'll all be fighting towards, the same 10 malls and probably the same handful of high street places to open our restaurants. Till restaurants actually form a cluster themselves and go out and build a new area and say, we're going to put ourselves over there and this place is going to develop, nothing is going to happen. Let's not wait for the government to do things for us. Let's do things for ourselves and actually grow. Because, it's also one of the major reasons why our eating out numbers don't match. Our rentals become so much higher because we're all fighting for the same place. And even if we get it, and even if we get customers inside those doors, the restaurant viability still doesn't happen because the inflation for us in terms of real estate is so very large that it does not make sense for us to be running those restaurants for a long time. And I think thirdly, we need to work on supply chain efficiencies. Till we understand the need for having good products being used in our restaurants, till we need to have standardized products in our restaurants, restaurants are not going to become restaurant chains. And restaurant owners are not going to become restaurant organizations. So we need to understand that supply chain efficiencies have to be built. And more importantly, I think at IRC 2018, we've taken a commitment this year that, we're going to make this community bigger. Until we don't do that, it is not going to all fall in place. We need to see a larger professional force coming into play in the restaurant sector who needs to be coming over here to these forums, who need to play a more active role in terms of building the whole restaurant organization or the companies that we're looking to form in the restaurant sector. So in fact, this year we have a few roundtables that we have specifically created in order to build that up. So we have a supply chain management roundtable, which incidentally also got us maximum number of attendees. It's going to be happening later in the day. I would want if some of you can actually go there for some time. We're doing one for food truckies. We're doing another one for franchising. We're doing a special initiative for home chefs this year to see how they can go and grow their business. Also a special one for students who are either looking to join the industry as a professional, or they are looking to sort of build their own restaurants as as they get out of college. So these are little initiatives which will help us to make our community bigger. But as restaurateurs, I think we need to be more committed in order to make our restaurant industry stronger, more organized, and building leadership is probably the only way to go forward with it. I welcome all of you to the Indian Restaurant Congress. We have some great lineup of speakers, some great thoughts that are going to be shared today. And I look forward to interacting with all of you in order to see where this industry is headed and how we can all take it to grow to much bigger level. Welcome once again, and I look forward to meeting you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Maria, and request you to please stay back and extend floral welcome to our esteemed dignitaries. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the honor of being joined by Mr. Rajiv Varman, Conference Chairperson and